Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie. In this video, I'm going to go through some of the long-term care issues that staff are having and some information to help if you are thinking about putting your loved one in a long-term care facility. I do have some notes here, so I'm just going to go by some of my notes because I have a habit of rambling on when I'm very passionate about something. So let me introduce myself. I am a 56-year-old woman who has worked in long-term care for almost 40 years of her life, 30, 38 years to be exact. I've worked in several places, and I also had one main employer that I was at for 38 years. I just recently retired. So let's get started, shall we? Um, Working in long term care, um, my generation, which is Generation X, we've seen a shift happen about 12 to 14 years ago. And let me explain that shift. Um, Baby boomers, the later baby boomers, were starting to retire and they were being replaced by millenniums or Generation Y. So that's when my Generation X, we started to see a change, and the thing is, Generation Y, and I'm sorry if I offend some people here. I'm not talking about every Generation Y or millennium. I'm just talking about what I have witnessed in long term care. Um, those millenniums and the ones, remember, I've worked in several places, not just one facility, so it's not isolated to the one facility. Generation Ys are more concerned about themselves and their workload than the job that needs to be done. Um, and like I said, I apologize if I'm offending. I'm sure there is some Generation Ys out there that are doing a great job and they're good at their job, and but I'm just talking about what I have witnessed. Um, so let's go for an instance. I'm working the unit. Now, sorry, I do apologize for backtracking. I have worked the unit for 33 years, and then I transitioned the last 5 years, 4.5 years into management. So let me give you an instance on the units. Um, I'm on break. I have residents that I am assigned to. One of my residents pulls the call bell. One of the younger girls that is on the unit goes in and answers a call bell. Now, remember, we're dealing with people, the people that we're caring for are the silent generation and the baby boomers, the earlier baby boomers. So this generation are very prone not to ask for help unless they really need it. And they feel almost guilty asking for help to do something, whether it be tie their shoes up, get the remote, or go to the washroom, which is our job because we're caring for these people. Our jobs are to care for our older generation, right? So, resident pulls the bell, staff member goes in. I need to go to the washroom. Oh, I'm sorry, hun. Is it really really badly, like you have to go now? Your nurse right now is on break and I'm really swamped. Can Do you possibly think you can wait? Okay, guys, that is a wrong freaking response. If a resident is asking to go to the bathroom, you unless you are in your elbows up to crap, you answer that bell, you take them to the washroom. Me, if I'm going in and taking care of a Generation Y call bell, that resident wants something, it's a necessity that that person needs if they're calling for help. Okay. I will drop what I'm doing if it's not life threatening, if I don't have a resident like that has to be in the bath at a certain time or whatever. I will drop what I'm doing to care for that resident. I don't look at that person as, oh, it's not my resident, it's that person's resident. We're all there for all of the residents. That mentality is starting to be gone. My generation, we're starting to retire. And I hate to tell you guys, it's going to be a lot worse. I will not let my husband go into long term care. I'm actually leaving this country because I can see what is happening. The other thing that is happening is during the COVID time when hell broke loose in long term care, and you all know what I'm talking about, um, our lovely government decided, oh, let's mass immigrate these workers because our long-term care facilities need help. Let's give them extra money. Let's do this. Well, I have to tell you, a lot of people that came into Canada to help in the long-term care, and I'm not saying all, by and all means, I'm not saying all, but the majority of what I've seen shouldn't be working in long-term care. Long term care takes a certain type of person. And if you're not that type of person, you have no business, none whatsoever, being in there and doing that job. But the reason they're doing that job is, guess what, guys? My generation and the generation above me are going to need somebody to care for. It's good pay, especially now since the government has topped us up. It is guaranteed pension. It's guaranteed hours and it's a guaranteed job because guess what? We're not going to be laid off because as a need, as everybody knows, there's a huge need for long-term care out there. And it's a guarantee money cow. And I'm sorry if I call it that, but that's what it is. For these people that shouldn't be even probably working in a Walmart, they're in long-term care. Um, so I apologize, guys. Um, it's a hard job. It is a very hard job. Um, I loved my job. I gave my heart, sorry, and soul into this job. I took so much pride when I left those residents. I knew they were taken care of the best that I possibly could. And you know, back in my day, up till about 4 years ago, before I transitioned into management, our ratio was 13-1. But you know what? Those residents were taken care of because we took pride in our job. We took pride in how those residents looked. We were their extended family. Now, that's not happening. And if anybody's looking to place a loved one, whether it be a mother, grandmother, aunt, an uncle, a husband, uh, anybody in long-term care, I'm going to give you some pointers. And I really, truly hope you listen to these pointers. When you go in for your tour, because every at least in Canada, it's an automatic. We do tours, and then you pick out so many places that you want. I want you to look at the management staff. If the management staff is all young, I want you to tread carefully. That means that the majority of our staff, the Generation X, I've left. And a lot of the reason we've left is because of the headache that has come with these younger generation. And I'm going to tell you something. The younger generation stick up for the younger generation. And it is even at head office. All of our head offices now are under 35. All of our CEO, everybody is young. And the problem with that is, guys, when one of us, older people, bring up this, that, this person is not professional, this person is not suitable, we get harassed. We get targeted to push us out because that is exactly what has happened to me. I couldn't take the bullshit anymore and I left. So when you're in that facility, I want you to look. I want you to look at the staff and I want you to look at the management. If it's all young staff, take caution, guys. The other way you can look is when you go onto the units, there'll be residents sitting around in a gathering in a setting, and there'll be staff. When I used to stay have to do my documentation, I would bring my iPad and sit with a resident, talk to a resident as I'm doing it. It's not rocket science, the documentation. It's an easy click, 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 click. It was a little bit harder when we used to have to do the paper and we had to read and we had to check other areas off and write stuff in our progress notes and stuff. Now it's a click, click, click. A monkey can do it. And the fact is, if those people, if you have staff that are sitting all by themselves, talking amongst themselves and not to the residents, that is your red flag. Because if they're going to do that when you have a tour on, okay, and everybody knows when the tours come because they're usually set times, that tells you the type of care that those residents are going to get. I'm sorry, guys. I know there's some people out there that have family members in long term care and they think it's the best thing since sliced cheese. It's not. Like I said, I've worked in it, I've lived in it. I've, guys, just be mindful of what is happening in long term care. Okay. And I hope you appreciate, I hope somebody has gotten some insight from this video. And if you found it interesting or helpful, please give me a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I will be posting things like what has happened during COVID, what has happened with the public health. I will be uploading a ton of videos over the next little bit of time. So I hope you guys have a great day. And I hope this information was a little bit helpful to you guys. Okay, just remember, look. And if the residents look like they're just sitting there and they're not happy and everybody's chit chatting in a corner on their tablets, sometimes they're on their phones. Red flag, big red flag. Okay, guys, have a great day and take care now. Bye.